Hey, Stirling Boar is what's on tonight. It's a 24 millimeter. I've had it soaking, I don't know, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, something like that. A little bit longer than usual prep time soak. The blade today is an Astra Platinum. It's been used 14 times before now. The soap for today, Peerless from Reef Point Soaps. And I love Reef Point. They recently closed their doors several months ago. I don't remember if it's the end of 2018 or early 2019, but I really love their soap base. I love their design. There are a lot of things about the company. I'm really kind of sad that they had to shut down for whatever reason. Peerless is a very woody scent, and that's why it's today on the Lather Games. Christmas or winter type scents is today's theme for the Lather Games. We are in the last week of shaving for that contest. I have hooked out a 1/4 teaspoon of this soap, and it was a little difficult for me to find a soap to use here that for this day because I wanted to use a different maker than I have any other day of the month, and I don't like most winter scents. I just don't. I don't like the fir smell. I don't like mint. I don't like frankincense or myrrh, at least not to shave with them. So I'm just pressing the soap into the bottom, and I'm also doing it in such a way that it's not likely that any's going to break off, because if it does that and it just kind of floats around the bowl as you're mixing, it doesn't really mix very well. So there we go. It's ready. And this is a very woody cedar fir type scent. So I don't like it all that much, but I love the base. And I love Admiralty by these guys. I especially like Aviator, Submariner. They make a sandalwood and Earl Grey and ginger, just a few other scents, and so I'm really happy with the brand. I'm really happy I was able to grab up some of those tubs before they become really hard to find. And you get a nice quantity too for your money, so it's a good. It was a good buy for an economical purchase. Already showed you the brush. Showed you the blade, and the razor, kind of important. This is a vintage Gillette. The teeth, open comb teeth, kind of give you the indication that it is a new NEW, and it's usually typed all caps. It would be great if they didn't name it that because it's such a ubiquitous term, but it's a new. And it's the open comb. None of the news were closed comb, and none of the. It kind of looks like a tech, doesn't it? Well, none of the techs were open comb, so it's a new. And then we flip it over, and most techs have kind of a diamond pattern here on the base plate. Well, this not only is flat, but it's got a raised portion on the flat part here. The flat bottom would have a slot here. Well, this is the raised flat bottom, or RFB. So that's what this model is. Raised flat bottom, new. Got kind of a thin handle. The knurling is very soft. A lot of it is kind of, the edginess of it is either was never there or has kind of worn away. So it feels a little more loose than a lot of other razors. But I'm sure it'll be fine. I've shaved with it at least once before. I think I liked it. The Astra Platinum has been a very good blade for me. It is a popular blade with a lot of users. And so if you are brand new, it's one that's worth a try to see if it works for you. But just because it works for me or other people doesn't mean it will work for you. Splash my face with a little bit of water. Not quite 24 hours of growth, but pretty close. And the brush we have today is the Boar from Stirling. Inexpensive little guy. He has been kind of slow to break in. I think he's in his 16th use, 15th use, somewhere around there. He's got a lot of backbone, very scrubby. I don't think his tips are scratchy anymore, but just a lot of scrub to him, and he may be kind of resistant to time. He may, like the Omega that I have, be a brush that takes a long time to break in. My Simogues and Zenith are really quick break-ins. Just a few days of a few uses with about a 1 hour soak before each use, 1 to 3 hours, and they felt great, soft, all that stuff. I did happen to keep a little bit more water in this brush than usual. I will add the water with the syringe from here on out. But it is a scrubby little guy, and so if you like your brushes that way, it's a good one to have. I don't know if in the future, if he's going to take a while to break in, I don't know if there'll be some magic point where all of a sudden he's not as scrubby, but he turns luxurious, I don't know. We'll see. That's why I have so many Boar brushes, because you really have to work them and use them before you find out how they behave. These Simogues that broke in really quickly, are they gonna keep breaking in more? Get too soft? Too little backbone? Some of them might. Or the ones that are stubborn, like the Omega 10098, that's the one I'm working on with, as well as this Stirling brush. Are these gonna take a long time to break in, but then hit some magical point where they're just such a joy to use? So we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. So this is such a slick base, and the lather. I mean, look at that. That's just terrific. He is on his way. This is a short handle, but it's got some girth to it. It's got a nice shape. However, it does make you grip it kind of hard once it gets slippery. So I'll probably have to kind of rinse the handle off at some point. And since he's so short, I am getting my fingers wet, and that's a bit of a chore to have to keep rinsing them off. But if I like this knot, if this turns out to be a wonderful knot that turns soft when the tips have split even more. Tips are being slow to split here. And I'm not using any kind of exaggerated break-in process like the hair dryer on the tips or refrigerator soaking or anything like that. Just long tepid soaks before the shave, and I didn't do that this time. But I would do 1 to 3 hours before each shave normally with all the boars that I'm working on right now. Well, this lather is slick, and there's going to be enough of it. Let's just kind of feel it. It's a tallow soap. This feels so good. It is slick, very enjoyable. I'm interested to see, since this is not a scent that I enjoy, it's one that's kind of on my to-sell list. Could I smell something different in it now that I want to keep it? Who knows? Sometimes those kind of things happen. You gain an appreciation for a certain combination of notes or something like that. Throw some water on my face. All right. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, just kind of a massagey feel It's not pokey or prickly, this brush. So if somebody wants one that's got lots of scrub, this is an inexpensive option that fits that bill perfectly. And it's got a lot of bristles. Nice big splay. Yeah, this lather's too dry. Let's keep adding some water. How do I know it's too dry? When I move the brush around and I try to lay down a thin layer, I kind of see it hold its shape a little too good. It clumps up just a little bit on the flat part of my neck. I can feel it. There's pock marks almost, like I was a teenager who had a zit problem, and it's because it's not spreading evenly. And so I'll do a scrubbing circle like here to open up the brush. Put a few drops in there. I like to make sure the drops don't head back toward the handle, so I'll tilt my face over like that. I'm kind of liking this scent now. Maybe I'll be glad nobody has bought it yet. Who knows? I'm trying to thin down my collection a little bit. I mean, I don't have to have every single soap imaginable, right? And so I actually created a rating system on the website I created for myself so that I could start rating the soaps in general, so that I could start making a list and just look at, boy, I've got 20 soaps that are kind of rated in the middle. And then I've got, lots more that are higher than that. So it's been easy to get rid of soaps I don't like. But I think I'm to the point now where it's time to consider getting rid of the soaps that I think are okay. Because there are just so many good ones out there. So as you look at all this lather that's coming out the side of the brush, that means that I was right in adding more water, because it is continuing to generate lather. Some reasons why you don't want to shave with a lather that's too dry. It can leave buildup on your razor that you have to be careful to clean off. But most importantly, it causes your soap not to really latch on and bond with your skin. If it doesn't do that, then it can't protect your skin. You need that. At least those are the words I'm using to try to describe what I'm experiencing. If I have a dry lather, the razor just seems to skate over it and push the soap aside, and the soap doesn't really protect it very well. All right, now, see, we've got some furrows here, but see, everything's uniform. There's not very much clumping at all. I can feel it. I can feel the moisture in the lather. So we're in a much better place now than we were a minute or two ago. Almost there. And now we're just going to be happy with where we are. Lay down a light coating. And we are good. Now, the rest of the lather that I had in the bowl, that's still kind of a concentrate. And I just used a whole teaspoon to fix. So I'm going to shoot another teaspoon in the bowl before my next pass. After the rinse, I'll integrate that. Lather feels good. Scent strength is not strong. Pretty light, actually. I smelled it a little bit more when I had the brush going around, which is, what you'd expect. maybe 3 out of 10, maybe 4. Pretty light, really. So platinum, 15th use, Astra. Ooh, good match. I can feel it touching the hairs, but I don't feel any tugging. So you guys that think you can only get 3 or 5 uses out of a blade, maybe that's true for you. I'm not saying it's not. But maybe you can go a little further. I wonder, what if people who are saying, oh, I can only go 3 shaves with the blade, are doing that because they have crappy lathers that aren't really protecting them. Or something like that. And so the blade isn't really the issue, but it's a secondary symptom. All right, I'm going to rinse. The first pass was excellent in terms of the rinse. Creamy, luxurious, super slick, excellent. The razor, like I said, I didn't really feel the edge of the razor. I felt the blade kind of touch the hairs as it went by, but it was cutting them cleanly and easily. I didn't feel any scraping. It was a terrific first pass. I've now integrated that extra teaspoon. Let me show you what the lather look at that. Look at that. Lately, I've just been using soaps that I couldn't take to this level, that I couldn't hydrate this much without them being too wet, falling apart, not protecting enough, not giving me a creamy feel. But this one, and that's why I love Reef Point so much. This is a top-notch lather. I mean, the other ones are good, but this one's even better. To me, this is where I like it. I like to see this kind of thing. It's going to give me a really hydrated, slick shave and still remain a luxurious, creamy feel. And like I've said when I use this brush, if it does scrub enough to where if I had an aggressive shave, an aggressive razor or blade combination, that this could give me brush burn. It could aggravate that tenderness of skin. And so I need to remember until, if this guy ever becomes soft, then I wouldn't have to worry about that. But until then, I need to try to remember that. So yeah, here's the lather. I put another teaspoon in there, and I now got that same lather that I had to dilute a minute ago to achieve. So now we're good. And this is another case of an open comb razor not being aggressive. This is not bothering me at all. There's a little bit of razor feel, of blade feel, but I think I opened the handle angle a little too much. So it is possible to get that feel if you make a mistake. Now I'm starting to feel the razor edge just a little bit. Maybe the brush has kind of roughed up my skin just a little bit, making it more sensitive. Don't know. So quick pass, felt good. Yeah, so it's a woody scent. I'm appreciating it a little bit more this time as opposed to last time. It's not quite as fur-like as before. It's taking on some other woody type notes. I could definitely, if I only had a few soaps, I could see myself maybe taking an orange soap or a citrus focused soap and combining it with this one take half a scoop of this one and half a scoop of the other one, and I bet it would achieve something really cool. But like I said, I've got all these other soaps, and so it doesn't make sense to keep a soap for parts, you know? All right, rinse time. I am actually feeling a little bit of tenderness and rawness there. That rinse was totally different from the one after the first pass. So I'm just going to not spend very much time with this lather, trying to scrub and feel the brush and all that stuff. I'm just going to kind of paint it on as effortlessly as I can and move on. There we go. And I've still got probably 3 passes left. So this is another one. This is, I think I remember now that this is an economical soap. Another reason why I like it. I don't need that full 1/4 teaspoon. All right. Sometimes if the razor treats you a little roughly, if you start feeling a little tenderness during the shave, you can change your technique a little bit maybe. But sometimes you are rewarded at the end with a crazy close shave that you've just never gotten before. So sometimes it is a really cool thing. And there we go. Yeah, see, I think I've got a bump right here. It's not a zit, it's just always there. It's like a mole that never grew up. And so sometimes he'll take a hit. I don't think, oh, there's a tiny, tiny weeper right there. It is pretty common to get one right there if I ever get one. I think that's all. So this is definitely a sharp blade to be careful with in this particular razor for people with skin like me. So I may not like this scent too much, but it's very light. And so it doesn't bother me. It's not obnoxious. I could definitely see pairing this with maybe a good strong sandalwood, so that the strong other woodiness nature here would combine and mix with the sandalwood to give a really well-rounded woody note. And to answer my earlier question, do I keep it around for parts? To scoop out a little bit here and mix with something else like a sandalwood or an orange or something else? Well, it depends on the shaver. It depends on you, the shaver. Do you have just a few soaps? Then maybe you do keep it. Play around with it. Have fun. Use it. It's an economical soap. It's a great performer. I mean, this is awesome, awesome lather. But me, I've managed to find some sales, and I've got a whole list of soaps that I enjoy more. So I'm probably going to pass this on to somebody who's going to make better use of it and focus on the ones that I just really enjoy. Because soaps last a long time. A tub like this could last a person 3 months. Probably these guys, probably 4 months. And so I'm giving somebody else 4 months of shaves, and then I'm enjoying my 4 months a little bit better. So for me, the answer is probably pass it on. All right, but it's a worthy soap with a beautiful lather. Nice, sloppy viscosity. Just where I like it. Very, very happy with the performance of this base as usual. If I just had to stick with Reef Point products for the rest of my life, I'd be happy. The third rinse went a little better. It wasn't quite as shocking. I didn't get some stinging that I did before, and so that was good. Now this is a splash that is alcohol based, and so it's probably going to give me some zings. I chose this one because of the woodiness, the winteriness of it. This is one of my favorite scents ever in shaving. And it is Barrister and Mann Fougere. Crap, I can't believe I'm forgetting the name of this. Let me pause and try to remember it. Fougere Gothique, I think. Gothique is definitely in the name. Yep, exactly. That's it. Fougere Gothique. And it was a limited run a couple years ago. And I managed to get a hold of some of this splash. It does have alcohol as the first ingredient. It's got witch hazel. It's got some other things that are good for your skin. Chamomile, some flower extracts, calendula, and so just a few good skin things to help out, not just alcohol and fragrance. And I've kind of shaken it up already, so we're good there. But it's got a woody nature to it as well that should go nicely with this Peerless. Oh yeah, there's some stinging. So that blade and razor combination was a little tricky, a little deceptive. Felt great that first pass. I didn't feel any stings or dings or anything. But I don't know whether, I'm going to have to look at my notes. I'll try to use a softer brush next time and see if it was the brush burn, the kind of the scrubbiness of that boar brush that made the difference. And this is a scrubby boar brush. Not all boars are that way. The Zenith and 4 of my Samogs and 2 of my other Samogs are not that way. So not all boars are like that. Man, this stuff smells good. And I'll bet the woody nature of this is going to help me to pull different things out of this scent. So that'll be fun to see and watch happen. Excellent. Well, that's in the books. The winter, the woody, seasonal type shave is down. And I was happy to enjoy that. Don't quite know what tomorrow is. We'll see. I think tomorrow might be Barrister and Mann Day. That's cool. All right. I'm going to package everything up, clean up. How does my face feel? Some redness right there. Weeper's still kind of going on. He'll stop on his own. This guy seems to have stopped on his own already. A little bit of redness in a few places. A little bit of tenderness, I feel, but it's going to be gone soon. So no big deal. No harm done. That's a nice little razor. And it'll be interesting as I use it more if I keep discovering this happens with the blades, if it's kind of sneaky and you have to be a little careful with it. So we'll see what happens. And this is not a fresh blade. Sometimes you throw a fresh blade in a razor, then you've been using an old one for a while, and it catches you off guard. Well, this is the 15th use of this guy. And so that just proves that these blades are still sharp after a lot of people are throwing them away. Because it's sharp enough to just cut chunks out of my skin without me really even knowing it. How about that? Yeah, and a nice cut right here, and I didn't even do my kind of special angle to get this area right here. That's how sharp this blade was, and how smooth yet aggressive. That may be kind of the characteristic, the predominant characteristic of this particular razor. Smooth, deceptively smooth, yet efficient, very aggressive. All right, there we go. Hope there was something here for you. I love bragging about Reef Point. Get some and try some if you can. The Astra Platinum did its job well today, maybe a little too good. I like this razor. He's nimble. I've just got to learn to be careful with him, it looks like. The brush still on the scrubby side. We'll keep working at it because that's the way boars are. Sometimes there's this period where they're rough to deal with. But it can bond you with it because you're training it, you're watching it change, and you're putting time into it. And then one day, maybe 6 months down the road, or 6 months of uses down the road, you realize, wow, this guy is tremendous. The tips have split, he's soft, And so I hope to achieve that, and I'm going to be patient until we get there. There we go. Yeah, so I showed you the lather, and I've probably still got 3 passes right here, so don't need to use a 1/4 teaspoon with this guy. All right, there we are. You take care. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Have a good night.